Dude, if I could have a katana in real life, I would buy that shit in a heartbeat. I mean, not to like enact violence on my adversaries or anything, but just purely for aura farming purposes. Imagine how much harder the fit checks would go if you had a katana. Whenever I see photo shoots, it's always better with a katana. Like, I've never seen one photo shoot on like Instagram where someone is posted up hard as fuck and I'm like, wow, this would be so much cooler if they didn't have a sick katana. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think katanas make any outfit better. I just wish it was like socially acceptable to wear them outside, like how it used to be in Europe and shit when people would just like brandish swords just on their person. I mean, like I guess like concealed carry guns are cool and stuff, but it just doesn't have the same swag that a sword does. Last semester, I was reading like some kind of story. I think it was called The Golden Ass by Apuleius. It was for some like literature class. Okay, and in one of the scenes, this guy, he's walking home drunk from the function. He's walking home drunk from the funk, and there's these bandits that try to rob him, and he just whips out his sword and defeats all of them. And I'm like, wow, that was tough as nails, bro. Like, I just wish it was socially acceptable for people to wear swords out in public, just purely for the fit. That would be so cool. I mean, I guess there are like cosplays and like anime con conventions and stuff like that, but that's just not the same, because there it's like at a certain point it's doing too much. Like, you can't wear a cosplay out in public as like daily attire. It's like a special occasion and you're like aware that it's like a prop. But if you have a katana like on your person just like out in public, bro, that would be so freaking tough. I came across this Instagram account the other day, and it was like some designer, right? And he like made like a custom katana with like silver engravings. Oh my god, I got a little excited. And the katana like matched his silver belt. Like, how freaking cool is that, okay? But I mean, if you're gonna have a katana, I know that some people have like katanas like hanging up on their wall. When I was in elementary school, I had this friend. Every single time I went over to his house for a sleepover, I remember he had like a katana like hung up on a wall somewhere. And I mean, at the time, I thought it was really cool. But there are definitely some people that like hang up katanas in like a weeb way. And like, I guess you can call me a weeb, but like low key, they're kind of cool. And I remember a few years ago, I was binging Forged in Fire or whatever it's called. It's that one like History Channel show about people like forging swords and blades and stuff. I would always get super excited whenever someone forged a katana, especially when it was made of Damascus steel. Oh my god. I was gushing over those Damascus steel patterns on the blade. They were so cool. Like, I just think the process of Damascus is just really unique. I mean, I don't really know that much about blades, but just like the idea of mixing a bunch of stuff together, a bunch of different metals in the forge, and coming up with this unique pattern that can never be replicated by any other blade, that is so cool. The evidence that I love katana so much is because every single game that I play, I always choose the katana class. Like, if I have the option to choose a katana, I will always choose it, even if it is not the most optimal build. You know, the gameplay that you're watching, Cyberpunk 2077, this is my second playthrough, and both times I've run the Sandy Katana build, and both times I ran with the Byakko. I mean, I guess this is also a testament to my love for speed characters and speed builds, but I think that's a topic for another video. But yeah, even when I played Elden Ring, right, pretty much every single weapon that I used was the katana. For most of my playthrough, I ran Moonveil, and then I switched to Rivers of Blood when I got bored. Yeah, I mean, you can say whatever you want about Moonveils and Rivers of Blood. Yeah, you can say I cheesed Melania by using Rivers of Blood and Mimic Tier. Bro, I really don't care. Like, if I'm playing the game, especially if it's a single player game, I'm playing it to have fun, not to bash my head against the keyboard and argue about purity. I especially love when games have that ability where you can like unsheath the blade. You know what I'm saying? Like that stance that people do, and they like hold the katana and then they unsheath it, and then like the enemy like gets sliced in half and they don't even realize that they're sliced in half until like a few seconds later, and then they fall to the ground. Oh my god. That is like literally my favorite anime trope. I was watching Samurai Champloo a few months ago. Mid-ass anime, by the way. It's hella overrated. The story was so boring. But the one redeemable quality about that anime was the fact that the fight scenes were so freaking cool with the katanas and like the sound effects that they used and the visual effects. Oh my god. I was like, when I was watching that, I was just getting excited, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I also just love games where the main mechanic is like sword fighting, like especially games like Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro. Don't even get me started on Sekiro, okay? In Sekiro, pretty much the only weapon that you're allowed to have is the katana, and it is the only weapon that you have for the entire playthrough. And pretty much all of the mechanics rely on parrying, and the mechanics in that game are probably some of the most satisfying fighting mechanics I've ever played out of any game period. Not even just Souls-like games, just out of any game period. It is so satisfying when you get a perfect deflect. And I tried replicating that in Ghost of Tsushima. It was not the same. Okay, nothing is the same as Sekiro. I mean, I think it's more of like a rhythm game than anything. Like, you gotta get the pattern of the deflects down. But yeah, I actually never finished that game. I was gonna replay it, but I refunded that shit on Steam because it's just honestly too hard. And I did not feel like investing 80 hours of my time again into that game when I don't have the time or energy to do that anymore. But yeah, I loved Sekiro. I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I love Demon Slayer because of the different katanas that they have. I forgot what they're called, but I know in Demon Slayer the katanas have like different colors, and apparently like each color means something different. I think they're called like Nichiren blades or something. I don't know. Like, the one thing that I love most about Demon Slayer is the fight scenes and the action scenes with the swords. I mean, the action scenes are not as cool as Samurai Champloo, but they're pretty freaking cool. Also, two of my favorite movies are both Kill Bill movies, just because of how iconic they were with their cinematography and shots. Like, especially the first Kill Bill is probably one of my favorite movies of all time because of just like the outfits, the music. It was just such a uniquely directed film, and it was so influential, which I can see every day now because literally everyone and their mom is wearing the yellow Onitsuka Tigers without even knowing where it came from. And people, even the people who do know where it comes from, they call it the Kill Bill Tigers. But what they don't know is that the yellow Onitsuka Tigers that they're wearing in Kill Bill are not the Mexico 66s that everyone has. It's the limited edition Tai Chi, and people who know ball would know that. So yeah. So if you have an extra katana laying around that you don't know what to do with, feel free to send it my way.